January 1983. Venerable Master, you must use a Dharma-selecting vision and wonderful contemplative wisdom to regard this kind of state. When you contemplate, don't get attached and think, I'm contemplating. Wonderful contemplative wisdom functions like a mirror, is similar to the Great Perfect Mirror wisdom. However, while the Great Perfect Mirror wisdom reveals the actual appearance of all dharmas effortlessly, wonderful contemplative wisdom requires the power of contemplation in order to be clearly aware. If you can maintain an objective point of view, then you won't be ensnared by such improper views. If you recognize the state, then you won't be turned by it. Disciple, I have a question. Monkey in the book Journey to the West was born from a rock. How did that rock give birth to a monkey? Can such a phenomenon occur after a rock has been exposed to the essence of the sun and moon over several tens of thousands of years? Is a monkey's case the same as that described in the sutra? That is, there is an essential energy created during an eclipse of the sun and the moon, and it is absorbed by such things as gold, jade, and rare figures, a unicorn, a phoenix, a tortoise, or a crane, transforming them into demons. From reading the book, it seems to me that monkey had a few good rules. He knew that transmigration entailed a lot of suffering, and so after 800 years, he started on a quest for the way. He mastered various spiritual arts and later became a Dharma protector in Buddhism. Monkey was an example of a good being, but here the text is talking about spirits, sprites, ghosts, and monsters who turn into demons in their old age. Under what conditions do they turn into demons when they get old? It seems that these demons are like bandits because they do evil. Is it the case that some turn into demons while others don't because some are good and others aren't? Venerable Master, monkey was only a demon, and there are many other cases which are similar. Monkey probably ran into trouble as he was cultivating at the level of the thinking skandha, and so as a result, he turned into a monkey that could ascend to the heavens and burrow into the earth. He is exactly what the Shurangama Sutra calls a representative of the demons. As for other demons, when they are tired of being demons, of course they will also take refuge in the triple jewel with a single thought of reflecting within and awakening. They can become disciples of the Buddha. Before they awaken, they are still demons. The older demons get, the greater their spiritual powers become. The young ones aren't that strong and their spiritual powers aren't that great. The older ones have inconceivable strength and spiritual powers, which is why they are called demons. Demons are even more powerful than ghosts. The Chinese have the term demonic ghost because ghosts can turn into demons. Have you heard about the Assyrian demon woman? He had been a ghost in a Troll dynasty, but because she didn't follow the rules, she was struck by lightning. However, the lightning didn't destroy her completely, and she pulled herself back together with a concentrated effort. Then she cultivated and became a demon who went around taking people's lives because she wanted to increase her own power and the power of her retinue. Each time she caused a person's death, the other demons would congratulate her. You're really powerful. It's similar to how other officials act toward an official who has just been promoted. The demon's power increases with the number of people it kills, until even ghosts have to follow its orders. Later, when the as-you-wish demon woman met me, she took refuge with the triple jewel. Thus, she was a demon who took refuge with the Buddha. Everything in this world is wondrous and inconceivable. This sutra describes only a small portion. If we were to go into detail, each skanda has myriads of different kinds of demons. The sutra mentions one kind to give people a general idea so that they know to avoid thoughts of greed and craving. If you have no desire, you need not fear any demon whatsoever. If you are devoid of greed or desire, no demon can trouble you. Demons will come in only when they see that you've opened yourself up to them. If you always keep the doors closed, they won't come in. Demons get born in the heavens because they have cultivated many blessings. The sutras talk about demons from the heavens, but you shouldn't think they are only in the heavens. They can go to the heavens, but they are not always there. Demons in the human realm that are endowed with spiritual powers can also be considered demons from the heavens. If the demons in the heavens need them to go there to cheer them on in a battle and to increase their power, they can go at any time. Although they are born in the heavens, they still have desires and huge tempers and are incredibly stubborn. It's just because of their belligerent character that they become demons. If they weren't so aggressive and hot-tempered, then they would join the Buddha's retinue. Those with bad tempers and heavy ignorance join the demon's retinue. As for what kind of retribution they will receive in the future, that's a very distant question that cannot be answered. If they encounter someone with great spiritual powers, but are rather resistant to being tortured and transformed, they may be pulverized into nothingness. Even if they aren't pulverized, if they do a lot of evil and fail to reform, if they still turn away from enlightenment to unite with the worldly dust and continue to be confused, then they will have to undergo retribution and great suffering. They may fall among the animals and become foxes or weasels. It is the spirits of demons that cause them to turn into such creatures. They may become snakes or rats or various other strange animals. These are all transformations of beings endowed with malicious demonic energy. Fierce beasts such as tigers are so powerful because they are aided by a bit of demonic power. Sutra. You should be aware of this in advance and not get caught up in the cycle of transmigration. If you are confused and do not understand, you will fall into the relentless hells. Commentary. You should be aware of this well in advance and not get caught up in the cycle of transmigration of the Demon King. If you are confused and do not understand, if you do not wake up, you will fall into the relentless hells. Sutra. Further, in the unhindered clarity and wonder that ensues after the feeling skanda is gone, this good person is untroubled by any deviant mental state and experiences perfect bright concentration. Within samadhi, his mind craves long life, so he toils at investigating its subtleties as he greedily seeks for immortality. He wishes to cast aside the birth and death of the body, and suddenly he hopes to end the birth and death of thoughts as well, so that he can abide forever in a subtle form. Commentary. Further, in the unhindered clarity and wonder that ensues after the feeling skanda is gone, now that the skanda of feeling has become empty, dear, and subtle, this good person who is cultivating samadhi is untroubled by any deviant mental state and experiences perfect bright concentration. Within that perfect subtle samadhi, A change suddenly occurs. What is it? His mind craves long life. All of a sudden he thinks, it would be most wonderful to live forever and not have to die. So he toils at investigating its subtleties. He painstakingly searches into its most esoteric and subtle aspects as he greedily seeks for immortality. He wants to live forever and never grow old. He wishes to cast aside and renounce the birth and death of the body, literally share and section birth and death. This refers to each individual's birth and death. Each person has a share and each person has a section. What is meant by share? You have a body and I have a body too. You are a person and I'm also a person. You have your share and I have my share. What about section? It is the lifespan, the interval from birth to death. Section can also refer to the physical stature from head to toe, and he suddenly hopes to end the birth and death of thoughts as well. Ordinary people undergo the physical birth and death of the body. A fourth stage, Arhat, has ended that kind of birth and death, but still has to undergo the birth and death of thoughts. This refers to a thought process in which one thought is produced and another perishes in an endless flow. When he no longer undergoes physical birth and death, he suddenly hopes to end the birth and death of thoughts as well, so he can abide forever in a subtle form, a very refined and attenuated form. To abide forever means to obtain eternal life. Sutra. At that time, a demon from the heavens seizes the opportunity it has been waiting for. Its spirit possesses another person and uses him as a mouthpiece to expound the sutras and the Dharma. Commentary. Right when he entertains a thought of greed for long life. At that time, a demon king from the heavens seizes the opportunity it has been watching and waiting for. Its spirit possesses another person. The demon king sends one of its followers to possess a person and uses him as a mouthpiece to expound the sutras and the Dharma for the cultivator. Sutra. This person, unaware that he is possessed by a demon, claims he has reached unsurpassed nirvana. When he comes to see that good person who seeks a long life, he arranges a seat and speaks the Dharma. He is fond of saying that he can go places and come back without hindrance, perhaps traveling 10,000 miles and returning in the twinkling of an eye. He can also bring things back from wherever he goes, or he may tell someone to walk from one end of the room to the other, a distance of just a few paces. Then, even if the person walked fast for years, he could not reach the wall. Therefore, people believe in the possessed person and mistake him for a Buddha. Commentary. Since this person's mind is totally controlled by the demon from the heavens, he himself is unaware that he is possessed by a demon. He claims that he has reached the wondrous fruition of unsurpassed nirvana. When he comes to see that good person who seeks long life, he arranges a Dharma seat and speaks the Dharma. He is fond of saying that he can go places and come back without hindrance. What does this demon like to say? He says, in this very moment I can go someplace 1,000 or even 10,000 miles away and turn in the same moment. I can go to Japan without taking a plane, buy merchandise and bring it back with me. If you don't believe it, I'll give you a demonstration. He's always showing off his spiritual powers. He wants people to see the inconceivable feats he can perform. He says, I can go and come freely in no time at all, perhaps traveling 10,000 miles and returning in the twinkling of an eye. I can go and turn in the time it takes you to inhale and exhale. Not only that, he can also bring things back from wherever he goes. He can buy things and bring them back. You don't believe me? He'll say, see this item. It came from such and such a company in Japan. Their exclusive model only available for purchase on site. Then he shows them a radio or a tape recorder of a Japanese make which has not passed through customs or been imported and which actually was manufactured by the company in Japan. Or he may tell someone to walk from one end of the room to the other, a distance of just a few, maybe 7 or 8 paces. Then even if the person walked faster for years, he could not reach the wall. He couldn't cover that small floor space at a dead run even in a year's time. Seeing such displays, therefore, people believe in the possessed person and mistake him for a Buddha. They think, oh, this is a Buddha coming to teach us the Dharma Sutra. He often says, all beings in the 10 directions are my children. I gave birth to all Buddhas. I created the world. I am the original Buddha. I created this world naturally, not due to cultivation. Commentary. He often says, you know, all beings in the 10 directions are my children. I gave birth to all Buddhas. Do you know whose sons the Buddhas are? They are my sons. He shamelessly boasts that he gave birth to all Buddhas. I created the world. I am the original Buddha. I was the first Buddha. There weren't any Buddhas before me. I created this world naturally, not due to cultivation. I created this world spontaneously, and I was already a Buddha when I came into the world. I didn't have to cultivate to become a Buddha. Sutra. This may be a Chamunda sent from the retinue of the demon in the heaven of sovereignty, or a youthful Bishatra from the heaven of the four kings that has not yet brought forth the result. It takes advantage of the person's luminous clarity and devours his essence and energy. Or perhaps without having to rely on a teacher, the cultivator personally sees a being that tells him, I am a Vara spirit who has come to give you long life. Or the being transforms itself into a beautiful woman and engages him in frenzied lust, so that within a year his vitality is exhausted. He talks to himself, and to anyone listening, he sounds like a goblin. The people around him do not realize what is happening. In most cases, such a person will get in trouble with the law, but before he is punished, he will die from depletion. The demon disturbs and confuses the person to the point of death. Commentary. This may be a Chamunda sent from the retinue of the demon in the heaven of sovereignty. Chamunda is a Sanskrit word that means slave ghost. A ghost that does the work of a slave. It also means jealous ghost because it is always jealous of anything good that anyone else has. It tries to thwart pupils who want to study the Buddha Dharma. If someone wants to be good, it drags him in a bad direction. It's a bad ghost. The demon in the heaven of sovereignty sends this kind of ghost to disturb the cultivator of samadhi, or it may send a youthful Bishatra from the heaven of the four kings. Bishatra ghosts specialize in devouring essence. They eat the essence of various grains and lands and of humans as well. When men and women engage in sexual conduct, a kind of essence flows forth, and that's what they eat. Whenever people engage in sexual conduct, there are lots of ghosts waiting on the sidelines to eat the essence. It's very dangerous. This is a Bishatra ghost that has not yet brought forth the result. It takes advantage of the person's luminous clarity and devours his essence. Those who have not brought forth the resolve, such as the youthful Bishatra and others, crave the cultivator's bright clarity and his soul. They consume his essence, but he remains unaware of it. Or perhaps without having to rely on a teacher, the cultivator personally sees a person, a being that tells him, I am a Vada wielding Dharma protecting spirit who has come to give you long life. Now I've come to give you longevity. You'll be able to live a long time. Or after saying that, the being transforms itself into a beautiful woman and engages him in frenzied lust. Frenzied means that they engage in this activity of lust over and over again, non-stop, so that within a year his vitality is exhausted. Under the strain, his vitality is depleted before a year is up. His essence, energy, and spirit all dry up because this is too excessive. The key word here is frenzied. It's not describing any ordinary occurrence. It's not referring to the usual manner in which such activities are performed. It's certain that the beautiful woman says, the more you indulge in lust, the longer your life will be. You will attain long life. In his greed for long life, he fails to realize his life is getting shorter by the minute. His totally spent before a year is up. At that time, he talks to himself. Actually, he's not talking to himself. He's conversing with the demon. He's conversing with the demon, and why he's doing so? So anyone listening, he sounds like a goblin. He's conversing with the demon, but the people around him don't see it. I've encountered this kind of demon before. I once met a man who was visited by a woman every night. She didn't come to him in the daytime, but every evening, as soon as she came, everyone in the household could hear the clack clack of a woman's high heels on the floorboards. Although they could hear the sound, they could not see her. Whenever the woman came, the man would strip, hop in bed, and have at it, not caring whether anyone was around or not. That was an instance of this type of ghost. Later on, a shaman in the area went to his home to exorcise the ghost. That night, when the demon came, she conversed with the shaman. Fine, she said. You want to cure this man? All right. From today on, he'll be fine. But from this point, I'm going to start coming to your household. We'd have a little contest of dharmas. After that, she actually went to the shaman's home, and his older brother engaged in this sort of improper activity from morning to night with the demon. I tell you, this demon is really powerful. The people around him do not realize what is happening. They are not aware of this situation. In most cases, such a person will get in trouble with the law, and his activities will be curtailed by the law. But before he is punished, before he is brought to trial, he will die from depletion. While still in prison, he dies from the total depletion of his essence, energy, and spirit. The demon disturbs and confuses the person to the point of death. The demon destroys the person's samadhi power to the extent that he perishes. January 1983. When I was young, I liked to fight with demons. I fought with them until all the demon armies in the universe wanted to gang up on me. I nearly lost my life on many occasions. Because of this, later on, no matter how much I have wished to fight with demons again, I haven't dared to use any dharma against them. Many demons come to bully me, but I always practice forbearance and don't offer any opposition. I gather them in and influence them with kindness and compassion instead of subduing them with the dharma of subduing. I remember that At the virtual society in Manchuria, the dean of the training school was called Su Lan. There were 50 or 60 students in the virtual society, and one of them became possessed by a demon. Su Lan, thinking that she had some authority as the dean of the training school, tried to get rid of the demon. She spat a mouthful of cold water at the possessed girl, but the demon didn't leave. It said, "Okay, you want to get rid of me? Then I possess you instead and see what you do about that." Thereupon the possessed girl got better, but Su Lan herself was possessed by the demon. Earlier, Kuo Hung said he had used this method of reciting a mantra and then spitting on the possessed person, and the person had run off. Probably the demon who possessed him didn't have enough powers, and so it left. But the demon that possessed Su Lan wasn't afraid of being spat on with cold water, and it didn't go away. Then Su Lan started acting demonic. She could no longer live at the virtual society and had to move back home. The demon came to disturb her every day at her home, throwing her family into turmoil. What demon was this? It was a gibbon spirit, a very large one. When it came, it engaged in sexual intercourse with Su Lan. It would possess her body and torture her. Sometimes it would confuse her to the point that she would utter how much she loved it and so on. Then they would have sex, and after it was over, Su Lan would be bleeding from her eyes, ears, nostrils, and mouth. The gibbon spirit sucked away all her energy and essence, leaving her paralyzed and near death. The virtual society sent someone to see our monastery's abbot, who was known throughout Manchuria as the filial Sanwang. They had heard that he had great virtue and could subdue the demons, so they sought him out. However, the abbot would always ask me to take care of such matters. He never dealt with them himself, but always sent me to resolve whatever problems there were. This happened many times, such as when the family of Cultivation in Tananko village was in trouble. This time the abbot also asked me to go, and so I went. When they informed the gibbon spirit of my coming, guess what he said? "Oh, you wasted your efforts asking him to come. It won't work. Even if you asked Chi Kung to come, it wouldn't scare me." It was not afraid of anything. When I went there, the gibbon spirit came and we had a real fight. After 2 days of non-stop fighting, I finally subdued it. The woman recovered. I have been through many experiences such as this. I'm not willing to interfere in other people's business anymore. For example, although I see that a certain person has an ego spirit on her and it is causing her head to shake involuntarily, I'm not going to do anything about it. I act as if I didn't see it. Why? Because I'm cultivating forbearance. Even if someone were to defecate on my head, I would bear it and not get angry. My motto now is that I will not contend with anyone. Kuo Hung, you'd better be careful not to stir up trouble in the future. You must have a few good rules, or else that demon would easily have possessed you. This is no laughing matter.